Welcome to the 2030 webinar series. This is the 8th installment, When to use a BluCard versus when to use BearBuy. The agenda for today consists of going over what the session is about, going over when to use a BluCard versus when to use BearBuy. That includes when purchasing goods, when purchasing services, and when needing to pay fees. We'll also go over BearBuy resources and support. And then lastly, questions and answers. Now let's get started. This session is intended for all users. It's only 30 minutes long, with the first 15 minutes going over when to use a BluCard versus when to use BearBuy, and the last 15 minutes dedicated to just questions and answers. Now let's go over when to use a BluCard versus when to use BearBuy. We'll first begin with when needing to purchase goods. Purchasing goods, regardless of payment method, whether it be a BluCard or a purchase order, is governed by Biz 43 Material Management Policy. Regardless of the payment method, you must always adhere to the rules and regulations set forth in the UCOP policy mentioned above. So with that in mind, you'd use BearBuy when the supplier does accept purchase orders. If a supplier accepts purchase orders, please set a purchase order up before the items are purchased. A purchase order is a legal binding document between the university and the supplier. The purchase order ensures that the supplier will charge you the price set forth in the quote or estimate that they send us. If anything is wrong, either they're charging us a lot more later on, the supplier will have to adhere to the price that's listed on the purchase order. By them accepting the purchase order, they are accepting our terms and conditions. This is why it's important to have a purchase order set up before the fact versus processing an invoice after the fact. You'll also have to use BearBuy when you're purchasing high-value goods. That is, anything above $4,999. You'll also have to use BearBuy if you need to set up blanket POs. These are for orders where we will be receiving multiple invoices, each for less than $4,999, but when combined, the total would be greater than $4,999. With that in mind, let's look at a list of a couple goods you can purchase on a BluCard. You can use a BluCard when you need to purchase low-value goods. That is, anything that's less than $4,999. These also include emergency low-value purchases. So when we say emergency, we mean last-minute orders, something that needs to be delivered or used the next day, and it's not feasible for one of our catalog vendors to deliver the items on time. You can also use a BluCard when you need to purchase from a supplier or vendor that does not accept a purchase order. This mainly includes online suppliers, such as Amazon and so on, as well as small stores, a mom-and-pop shop, and so on. We do encourage you to search the catalog suppliers to see if any of our catalog vendors carry the items that you need to purchase. When possible, always shop from a catalog vendor. If the items that you need are not found, go ahead and use a BluCard and order from these online or small store suppliers. Now let's go over when needing to purchase services. Again, purchasing services, regardless of payment method, whether it be a BluCard or purchase order, is governed by Biz 43 Material Management. So again, regardless of payment method, you always must adhere to the rules and regulations set forth in this UCOP policy. So this policy, Biz 43, applies to both purchasing services and purchasing goods. Since services require additional documentation and review, it's highly recommended to set up a PO before any agreement has been made with the vendor. You should not purchase or pay for services using your BluCard. If you have services you believe you can pay on a BluCard, please contact your department buyer prior to making any payments. To see a list of all the procurement campus buyers, please visit the website listed in front of you. A buyer at that point can then indicate if it is okay to proceed with the payment using the BluCard, or if a purchase order should be set up. If a purchase order should be set up, they can help you facilitate that process and use the correct form, as well as indicate which supporting documentations should be attached. So now let's address when needing to pay fees. Some types of expenses do not require a purchase order to be set up for payment. These types of expenses should be paid via the payment request form. So in BearBuy, you're still technically setting up a purchase order, but that purchase order is not sent to the supplier. It's only there to facilitate this payment. So each type of expense has different documentation requirements, which must be kept with the payment request, regardless of the payment method. The preferred payment method for some of these activities may be using a procurement card. So it's recommended to use a BluCard when needing to pay conference registrations, when needing to pay journal fees, subscription fees, and membership fees. All other fees can be paid in BearBuy by using the payment request form. To see a full list of items that can be paid via the payment request form, please visit the Controller's Office Accounts Payable website. That site is listed right in front of you. Now let's go over available BearBuy resources and support. The BearBuy website is a source for the most up-to-date news, announcements, and training resources. The website address is listed in front of you. We also have a BearBuy YouTube channel. Here we post all of our functional demos, which are useful when needing to learn different features of the system. The URL to our BearBuy YouTube channel is listed in front of you. If you need more assistance, please contact the help desk. Their phone number, hours of operation, and email address is listed in front of you. Thanks for watching.